There was a time when motorcycle companies built machines with heart, steel, soul, and a promise that the road belonged to you. Somewhere along the line, things changed. Corporate decisions replaced rider instincts, prices skyrocketed, and now many of the most historic brands in the world are running out of road. We're talking about companies with a century of heritage, names our fathers and grandfathers rode with pride. And yet, behind closed doors, the numbers are turning red. Tonight, we're exposing 8 motorcycle brands that could be staring down bankruptcy by 2026. Watch till the end, because the one at the top of this list is the last brand any of us expected. Number 8. Indian. The oldest American motorcycle brand still in production should be standing tall, shoulder to shoulder with the greats. Yet, the silence inside some of its dealerships tells a harder truth. Indian has built impressive machines in recent years, but pride and performance have not been enough to offset the growing distance between what riders want and what the brand keeps offering. The story is not about failure in engineering, it is about losing touch with the people who built the legend in the first place. Indian's return under Polaris brought high hopes. Many riders expected a rebirth of the kind of raw spirit that once defined American steel. Instead, what arrived felt more like a corporate experiment, polished for marketing brochures rather than the open road. The craftsmanship remains solid, yet the identity seems split between nostalgia and boardroom strategy. Prices have climbed, and the average buyer's age keeps rising. Those younger riders who once looked at the brand with curiosity now glance away towards something lighter, cheaper, or more adventurous. Dealers know it. The floor traffic tells the story before the numbers do. At first glance, Indian appears stable. Polaris is a powerful parent company with deep resources and a broad portfolio. But under that surface, cracks show in the financial patterns and in the way models linger unsold. When a manufacturer stops reporting brand-specific revenue, analysts start paying attention. When market share falls below the point where advertising can compensate, loyalists begin to worry. It is not about immediate bankruptcy, it is about relevance fading slowly while competitors strengthen their grip. That is the danger every legacy builder faces, dying not in a crash, but in a quiet decline. Indian's challenge runs deeper than numbers. The issue is emotional. For riders who remember the long stretch of highway beneath wide chrome bars, motorcycles were once symbols of freedom, not lifestyle accessories. The spirit of the open road cannot be built by committee, and riders can sense when authenticity turns into branding. Polaris understands engines, but Indian needs more than horsepower to survive. It needs a cultural pulse that beats beyond advertising campaigns and corporate events. The coming. Years will decide whether this brand reclaims its place as an authentic American name or drifts into boutique obscurity. If the company finds a way to reconnect with riders who still value torque, endurance, and soul over technology for technology's sake, it could rebuild the bond that once defined it. But if it continues following trends instead of instincts, Indian risks becoming the most historic name in motorcycles to fade quietly into memory rather than roar into the future. If you want more straight talk about the bikes dealers don't want you to know about, hit the like button and subscribe now. Your support keeps these deep dives coming. And let us know which brand shocked you the most. Number 7. Royal Enfield. The brand has always been a name that stirs emotion. It carries the scent of oil and steel from another time, a reminder of when motorcycles were simple, mechanical companions rather than digital displays on wheels. The brand's history stretches back over a century through wars, exports, and revivals. Its survival alone makes it an icon. Yet beneath that legacy, there is an uncomfortable reality. Tradition can be both strength and weakness, and in today's fast-moving motorcycle world, Royal Enfield stands dangerously close to becoming a brand trapped by its own past. The company has worked hard to keep its old-world charm alive, but that charm now faces pressure from every direction. Modern riders expect precision engineering, advanced safety systems, and dependable performance. Royal Enfield has improved its reliability, but the shadow of older complaints, vibrations, leaks, inconsistent finishes still follows it. Many riders respect the nostalgia, but hesitate to commit when they compare what they get for the price against newer, more refined competitors. The market has changed, yet the company's identity remains tied to simplicity and heritage, concepts that grow harder to sell to younger generations chasing performance and technology. Financially, the brand has shown strength in its home markets, but global expansion tells a different story. Western dealerships are fewer, parts availability can be uncertain, and resale values remain inconsistent. When a manufacturer cannot guarantee timely service or parts, riders start looking elsewhere. For seasoned American riders, practicality matters as much as pride. A bike that evokes history must also prove it can cross state lines without a calendar's worth of maintenance appointments. That is where Royal Enfield's old-school character meets its greatest test. There is no doubt about the passion behind this company. Every frame still reflects a vision of riding as an act of connection rather than consumption. Yet, that vision now competes with the realities of electric transitions, emission standards, and global regulations that favor technology over tradition. If Royal Enfield does not move faster toward modernization without losing its core soul, it risks being remembered as the brand that refused to evolve until time made the decision for it. The next few years will reveal whether it can balance heritage and innovation. The company must prove that authenticity and progress can coexist without compromise. Riders respect what Royal Enfield once stood for, but respect alone will not guarantee survival. The open road rewards evolution, and if this brand cannot adapt, it may soon find that nostalgia is the only thing left running on its name. Check the description for the trusted riding gear and accessories I use, tested through real-world miles. Number 6. MV Agusta. It is a name that has long carried the weight of Italian artistry. For decades, it has represented the side of motorcycling that treats metal as sculpture and performance as poetry. Every motorcycle carrying its badge has been crafted with obsessive attention to design, balance, and mechanical beauty. Yet behind that elegance, the company has faced an unrelenting struggle: how to survive in a world where passion alone no longer pays the bills. The brand stands at a crossroads between its glorious racing heritage and a financial reality that has tested its endurance more times than most riders can count. The company's history is filled with victories, bankruptcies, rebirths, and partnerships. Each chapter has brought new ownership, new promises, and the same haunting question: can a small manufacturer devoted to perfection compete in a market built on mass production and reliability? The latest years have seen outside investors step in, offering both capital and control. It is a pattern that repeats whenever the dream of pure craftsmanship collides with the mathematics of survival. While the motorcycles themselves remain beautiful, the brand's ability to deliver consistent service, strong resale, and global dealer coverage continues to falter. That gap between admiration and accessibility is what places MV Agusta on uncertain ground. Collectors still worship its legacy. Riders still speak its name with respect. But those same enthusiasts often describe ownership as a test of patience. Parts take time, maintenance costs climb, and dealer networks remain sparse. The allure of exclusivity that once made MV Agusta desirable now doubles as its greatest obstacle. When a brand depends on rarity to stay valuable, it risks becoming unreachable for the very riders who once kept it alive. In an age where reliability and affordability dominate the conversation, even the most passionate craftsmanship can struggle to justify its price. MV Agusta's future depends on finding balance between artistry and scale, between prestige and practicality. There is a fine line between being a legend and being a memory. For many years, this company has walked that line with defiance, believing that beauty and emotion are worth the cost. But the market shows less mercy with each passing season. If the brand cannot expand its reach without diluting its soul, it may find itself admired from afar, but missing from the roads where legends are proven. MV Agusta remains a masterpiece in motion. Yet the question now is not about how it rides, but how much longer it can keep riding at all. Number 5. Benelli. This is one of those names that once defined Italian craftsmanship. A brand born in passion and sustained by heritage. It began as a family operation long before motorcycles became global commodities. The story carries romance, 6 brothers working in a small workshop, designing machines that mixed elegance with mechanical innovation. For decades, Benelli stood for more than transportation. It stood for pride in creation. Riders who owned one could feel that difference in every bolt and every curve. But as the world moved on, the small workshop spirit became harder to preserve. Global competition tightened, and cost replaced craftsmanship as the measure of survival. The company's fate took a sharp turn when financial realities forced a shift from Italian ownership to global consolidation. The brand became part of a much larger industrial group based far from its original home. Production eventually moved east, and while this decision saved Benelli from immediate extinction, it also changed its identity. The motorcycles still bear Italian names, but the soul that once came from hand-built precision now competes with the logic of mass production. Riders who remember what Benelli used to represent can feel that difference the moment they turn a wrench or listen to the idle of the engine. This transition created a divide in how riders see the company today. Some appreciate the affordability and accessibility that came with new ownership. Others view it as a loss of authenticity. It is a difficult balance, keeping the badge alive while adapting to an entirely different manufacturing philosophy. For many enthusiasts, Benelli remains a brand of potential rather than consistency. The designs still carry Italian flair, but questions about longevity, quality control, and service support continue to follow. In markets like the United States, where reliability and dealer confidence define loyalty, those questions become more than criticism. They become deciding factors. Benelli stands at a crossroads where identity meets economics. The Italian name still carries weight, but the meaning behind it has shifted. The brand's challenge isn't competition, it's authenticity. Riders can forgive imperfections, but they won't forgive confusion about what a brand truly is. Benelli's challenge is simple to describe but hard to solve. It must rebuild trust with riders who value more than price tags. Legacy cannot survive on nostalgia alone. It requires proof every time a bike hits the open road. The brand's leadership faces a choice: stay positioned as a budget alternative with Italian styling, or reclaim the deeper heritage that once set it apart. True recovery will depend on whether the company can once again merge artistry with durability, emotion with endurance. If Benelli finds that balance, it could rise again as a proud symbol of Italian engineering reborn. If not, it risks becoming another historic name left behind, remembered not for failure, but for what it could have been had it stayed true to its roots. Number 4. Moto Guzzi. It carries nearly a century of history, filled with innovation, racing glory, and unmistakable character. The brand's signature V-twin engine, mounted transversely across the frame, remains one of the most recognizable sights in motorcycling. Yet beneath that proud heritage lies a deep struggle. The company has weathered decades of ownership changes, inconsistent investment, and shifting priorities from its parent corporation. While the eagle on its logo still symbolizes freedom and craftsmanship, the company behind it now faces the hard question of whether legacy alone can keep it alive in a changing world. There was a time when every motorcycle enthusiast knew the sound of a Guzzi echoing through the streets of Europe. Its rumbling cadence was the heartbeat of Italian engineering, mechanical, soulful, and slightly imperfect in all the right ways. But markets evolve, and nostalgia no longer pays the bills. The brand's current position within its corporate group leaves it fighting for attention among flashier, more profitable names. When resources are divided and focus drifts, even the strongest icons can begin to fade. In an era defined by high technology, electric transitions, and rapid globalization, Guzzi risks being left behind if it cannot modernize fast enough. The company's strength has always been its authenticity. It builds motorcycles that feel like they belong to another time, a time when machines were shaped by hand and designed for endurance. For riders who appreciate that philosophy, Moto Guzzi represents purity in a world of complexity. Yet, this very identity can become a weakness. Younger riders often want convenience, digital integration, and lower maintenance costs. Older riders, the brand's natural supporters, are aging out of the market. Without a clear plan to attract new enthusiasts while respecting its traditional DNA, Moto Guzzi could find itself reduced to a niche brand for collectors, rather than a living symbol of Italian motorcycling. For all its heart and history, Moto Guzzi faces the same truth every legacy builder eventually meets. Heritage cannot outpace progress. The company must inspire new riders without betraying old ones. If it fails to bridge that gap, its roar could fade into silence. Still, there remains something undeniably magnetic about the name. It evokes an era of craftsmanship and courage that few modern manufacturers can replicate. Whether the brand endures will depend on whether it can blend that authenticity with the reliability and accessibility that today's riders demand. The path forward requires investment, vision, and the humility to evolve without erasing identity. If Moto Guzzi can find that balance, it might yet roar across another century. But if indecision continues and corporate priorities drift further from its roots, the brand risks becoming a monument instead of a movement, a proud reminder of what motorcycling once was, rather than what it could still be. If you value honest breakdowns that cut through the corporate noise, make sure you're subscribed. We'll keep exposing what's really happening behind the showroom doors, so you never waste money on a machine that's already in trouble. Number 3, Norton. For generations, Norton represented the beating heart of British engineering, the spirit of rebellion wrapped in polished chrome. Its machines roared across racetracks and open roads, earning the devotion of riders who believed that a motorcycle should be both art and weapon. Yet for all its legendary victories, Norton's story has been one of repeated rebirths and unfinished comebacks. Each revival promised a return to greatness, and each stumble left loyalists wondering if this heritage brand could ever truly find its footing again. Ownership changes have defined the company as much as its engineering. Different eras brought different visions, but stability never seemed to last. Financial mismanagement, production delays, and internal scandals took turns undermining what could have been a lasting renaissance. Every few years, Norton would reappear under new leadership, promising to restore the brand's prestige. The world would watch, hope would rise, and then silence would return. It is a cycle that has haunted the brand for decades, a pattern of brilliance followed by breakdown, fueled by ambition, and undone by circumstance. Despite these struggles, Norton's name still holds power. Among seasoned riders, it evokes respect mixed with regret. There is a sense of what might have been had the company managed to modernize its operations without losing its authenticity. The design language, the racing lineage, and the mechanical soul are all still admired, but admiration does not sell motorcycles. To survive, a brand must produce, deliver, and support. Norton's ongoing challenge lies in convincing riders that it can do all three consistently. A company cannot live forever on nostalgia. At some point, performance and reliability must carry the weight that memory once did. Norton's story feels like a lesson written in chrome and ambition. Greatness once earned can't be borrowed back with branding alone. Without consistent leadership and trust, even the most revered name can become a ghost of what it meant to millions. Under new ownership, there are signs of a more disciplined approach. Investment has brought better facilities, improved processes, and renewed talk of expansion beyond the boutique market. Yet even with these positive steps, the shadow of the past remains long. Trust, once lost, is difficult to earn back, especially in an industry where riders value dependability above all else. Norton has the ingredients of greatness, but whether it can combine them into a sustainable future remains uncertain. The next few years will determine if it becomes the cornerstone of a British revival or the final echo of an era that refused to adapt. For now, Norton stands as both legend and lesson, a reminder that heritage alone cannot keep the wheels turning forever. Number 2, Harley-Davidson. Few names in American industry carry the weight that Harley-Davidson does. It is more than a motorcycle brand. It is an identity, a lifestyle, and for many riders, a lifelong commitment. The sound of a Harley engine has become a symbol of freedom itself, a deep mechanical heartbeat that has echoed across highways for over a century. But behind the chrome, leather, and legacy lies a growing unease. Harley-Davidson stands at a critical crossroads, caught between the heritage that built its empire and the modern pressures threatening to dismantle it. The brand's survival now depends on decisions that will either honor its roots or rewrite them completely. For decades, Harley-Davidson ruled the American road without serious competition. Owning one meant you had arrived not in wealth, but in identity. The company's design philosophy was rooted in craftsmanship, torque, and unmistakable style. Riders didn't buy a Harley just to ride, they bought into a brotherhood. Yet that sense of belonging is fading as the market changes. The average Harley rider is getting older, dealerships are seeing slower traffic, and younger buyers are walking past the brand entirely. What once stood as the definition of cool now risks being seen as a relic by a generation raised on lighter, faster, and cheaper machines. Harley's leadership faces a difficult truth. The market that sustained it for so long is shrinking. Efforts to modernize, from electric initiatives to global expansion, have been met with mixed results. Some loyalists see innovation as betrayal, while potential new customers view the prices and weight as barriers. The company has tried to walk both paths, protecting tradition while chasing change. But walking two roads at once rarely leads anywhere stable. The problem isn't a lack of engineering, it's a lack of identity clarity. Harley-Davidson must decide whether it wants to stay the guardian of the past or the architect of a new future. Harley's legacy is unmatched, but nostalgia is no longer enough to pay the bills. What once united generations now divides them. The challenge isn't in rebuilding machines, it's in rebuilding faith. The next chapter must prove that heritage can still evolve with purpose. Despite all the challenges, the spirit that made Harley legendary still lives in every shop, rally, and worn leather vest across the country. It is kept alive by riders who believe in the sound of a real V-twin and the pride of American craftsmanship. That loyalty cannot be manufactured or replaced. It must be earned again with honesty, consistency, and respect for what riders truly value. Harley-Davidson has weathered wars, recessions, and revolutions. It can survive this era too, but only if it remembers the simple truth that built its name in the first place. Motorcycles are not products, they are promises. If Harley can restore that promise, it may yet prove that legends never die. They just need to find the road back home. Number 1. KTM and Pierer Mobility AG. For decades, it represented the pulse of European engineering, pushing boundaries in both dirt and street segments. Yet today, that same ambition may be pushing the company toward a breaking point. Under the umbrella of Pierer Mobility AG, KTM stands alongside Husqvarna and GasGas, forming a powerhouse of brands that once seemed unstoppable. But the speed of their expansion has come at a cost, and behind the orange paint lies a web of financial strain, overlapping models, and the growing risk of internal competition that could threaten the entire organization. The challenge for Pierer Mobility AG is not the quality of its machines, it is scale, complexity, and control. By absorbing multiple brands with shared parts, platforms, and purposes, the company has blurred the lines between them. Riders who once knew exactly what KTM stood for now see near identical bikes wearing different colors. That kind of brand cannibalization confuses customers, weakens loyalty, and overloads dealerships. As production increased rapidly over the past few years, so did unsold inventory, leaving warehouses full and dealers frustrated. When the market slows, such overreach becomes a serious liability. Managing a global network of factories, suppliers, and retail outlets is a balancing act, and Pierer Mobility's current balance sheet is showing the strain. KTM's aggressive push into new segments, electric, adventure, and global commuter markets, was meant to secure its future. But those expansions require massive investment and steady demand. Electric sales remain modest, and the global economy has cooled, leaving the company stretched thin. Dependence on complex international partnerships adds further risk. Pierer Mobility's ties with CF Moto in China, Bajaj in India, and even MV Agusta in Italy introduce both opportunity and vulnerability. A disruption in any of these regions could ripple across the entire organization, disrupting supply, cutting revenue, and eroding market stability. KTM's problem is one of momentum. It moves fast, but not always forward. Ambition without restraint can burn brighter than it lasts. To survive, Pierer Mobility must rediscover direction before the speed that made it famous becomes the very thing that ends it. For riders, this turmoil means uncertainty. Dealership experiences vary widely. Parts delays are common, and communication from corporate leadership often feels distant. KTM built its name on adrenaline and precision, but business fatigue is starting to dull that edge. The company's leadership must now choose between doubling down on diversification or simplifying to protect the core brand that made it great. In the end, KTM and Pierer Mobility AG are not just facing a financial challenge, they are confronting an identity crisis. The next few years will determine whether this once underdog powerhouse can regain control or become another case study in overexpansion. For a company built on momentum, the question is whether it can slow down just long enough to save itself. Which brand on this list surprised you the most? Drop your take in the comments and tell us what you've seen at your local dealers. If you got value from this breakdown, hit that like button. And if you want more straight talk the industry won't give you, make sure you subscribe.